Good morning and happy Wednesday. It is time for our morning message, and I am still using the Peace Oracle deck by Tony Salerno and Leela Williams. Today's card that came up is, Shelter. And for me, as I look at shelter, I'm sort of drawn to, sorry, I don't do well backwards, the central piece here where it goes inward, and even the inside that looks a bit like a heart. The shelter that we seek, we think is external to us. We think that we need to find someone else to shelter us from life, to rescue us from our loneliness, from our problems. We think that if we have the best home or the best job or the most money or anything external to us, that we are sheltered from the miseries, if you will, of life. But the true shelter that we seek is within our heart. The true shelter that we seek is ourselves, is that part of us that is aligned with our higher self, with our spirit. And it can be called Source, it can be called God, it can be called the sacred space. It doesn't matter what name you give it. It is the home that lies within and around you. In A Wizard of Oz, Dorothy learned that there's no place like home. She also learned that she had the power to go home in every moment. The shelter, the peace, the safety, the security, and the love that she was seeking was always with her. She simply externalized it and looked outside of herself because she thought she was lacking something. As we move into 2022 a little more solidly at this point, January is almost over. We need to know that we have within us all that is needed to carry us through anything. We have weathered the storms, we have weathered the pandemic, we have weathered physical isolation because we are not physical beings. We have sheltered in place, but we have not stopped connecting. The shelter that we need to seek is the shelter of the peace within us. And actually, there was an affirmation in here that I wanted to read, and this is again from the Peace Oracle deck. I am safe in the strong and gentle hands of the universe. My heart is a haven for hope. My consciousness is a harbor for ingenuity and grace. I find shelter in a smile and share this comfort with others. Hope, peace, and contentment are my refuge. It's the experience, it's not the place. When we have that peace within us, then we can be isolated. Nelson Mandela spent years sort of imprisoned alone, but he never lost himself. He never lost that connection to his divine, to the source. That is why people can withstand so much suffering and isolation. Actually, I'm drawn to the idea that in the Bible, after the death of Jesus, some of his disciples were led into exile. They spent the rest of their lives alone. And it was not necessarily the worst thing to happen because he was not alone in spirit. He may have lived without other beings around him, but remember that we are beings of a higher mind. We are not beings of bodies. We are not these physical bodies, much like we are not the houses that we live in, and we are not our vehicles. We are not the clothes that we wear. They do not define us. We can wear anything, we can drive anything, and yes, we have more fun in some, or we feel more comfortable in some, but they do not define us. They do not have to limit us. So don't let your situation define you or limit you. Know that if you are weathering a storm of your own right now, that you have within you the shelter that you are speaking. You have the peace, you have the clarity, you have the strength and the resilience that lies within you and that is connected to the light. It is connected to the greater beingness of all of us. It is connected to other souls on the level of unconditional love. It is not connected to others in all the drama and the trauma, but it is connected to the unconditional love that resides in all of us. Take shelter in the knowingness that you are the center of your universe, that you have the power to connect with all beings. You may be alone, but you never have to be lonely. Have a spectacular Wednesday, and I'll talk to you again tomorrow. Bye-bye.